On today's episode of Tubby Time, we are taking an in-depth look at my Old Country Barbecue Pit's Brazos smoker, and I'm sharing my thoughts with you after 1 year of smoking. Let's get started. Welcome in, everyone. I hope you are doing absolutely splendid today. It's a beautiful, humid New England day. It's like 95 degrees out. I figured, what a perfect day to come out and shoot a video near the smoker. I mean, how much better can it get than this? I'm actually dying. But in reality, we've had rain for the last like 7 days, and we're supposed to have rain for the next 7 days. So I haven't really had a chance to shoot any outdoor cooking videos, but today's the perfect opportunity. So let's start. So as I said, it's been about a year, actually just over a year, since I purchased my Old Country Barbecue Pit's Brazos smoker. And if you've been following our channel over the past year, we did a few videos on this smoker. We've done some cooking. Initially, when we got the smoker, we did an accessories video and mods video. We did a burn-in process, and we did our first brisket cook ever and the lessons I learned from that. So be sure to check those out if you have not yet. But I wanted to take an opportunity today to talk to you guys about my thoughts regarding my Brazos smoker after a year of using it and really beginning to understand it, its pros and cons, and all that good stuff. Now, this video is mainly for two people. First, it's for the people like me a year ago who were completely clueless when it came to smoking but wanted to get into it. They have no clue what to do. They have no clue what kind of smoker to buy. They don't know where to start. And that was me. So I feel your pain, and I hope to alleviate some of that today. The second person this video is for those who have some smoking experience and maybe are looking to upgrade from some cheap offset smoker or some cheap whatever kind of smoker they bought a long time ago. Maybe it's rusting out. Maybe they want to actually get into offset smoking. And I hope to explain to you what this smoker can actually do. I want to give you a little bit of background about why I got into smoking personally. We started our YouTube channel just over a year ago, and we focused on mainly cooking on the Blackstone griddle, which is behind me, and doing things in our kitchen and desserts and stuff like that. As time went on, I decided I wanted to try something new. With COVID, we're sitting around the house, I had nothing to do, and I was just like, you know what, I want to try something new in regards to cooking. So I decided I was going to get into smoking. Now, at the time, I had no idea what kind of smoker I wanted to buy, or even that there were different types of smokers out there. We had a friend with a big green egg who said they're great, but they're heavy and they're expensive, and I sort of wanted to avoid that a little bit. We also had friends with smokers that were fueled by propane primarily, and they loved those. They're very convenient, easy to use, and they're very available anywhere you go, to any kind of sporting goods store or outdoor store like that. We also had friends that had pellet smokers, and they love them because they're convenient. You don't have to do anything, and you can usually remote control them from your phone. Very rarely did I see anyone with an offset smoker. And as I did my research, I realized that you can't go wrong with an offset smoker. By far, the best kind of smoker to buy is a stick-burning offset smoker that you use real wood. There's something about using real wood that just provides that flavor, provides that natural wood smoked flavor that you just can't beat with any kind of other method. And the best part is you put a ton of time and effort into tending a fire, using clean smoke, clean heat, and getting the flavors you want. It's all you controlling whatever happens to this meat inside this chamber. So because I'm dumb and obsessed with trying to be the best I can at whatever I do, I decided I wanted to spend my summer learning how to cook on an offset smoker, and this is why we purchased this particular smoker. I did a ton of research on offset smokers, and I realized that they are very hard to come by at, any kind of random sporting goods store. Like near us, we have Cabela's. They don't really sell anything good there. You have Home Depot, you have your home improvement stores, and they sell very cheap offset smokers that have really terrible reviews. So when it comes to getting a good offset smoker, you are going to pay a price. And honestly, I was a little bit discouraged because I didn't want to spend $4,500 on a good offset smoker. And that's why when I found this, I was ecstatic. I did a lot of research on YouTube, and I finally came across people that have this smoker, and the things they were saying about it were unmatched for the price that you can get it for. Now you're probably asking, where could I buy something like this? Where can I buy the Old Country Brazos smoker? The place that sells these smokers primarily is called Academy Sports. They're a southern-based sporting goods chain. If you haven't heard about them, you're probably like me, and you're going to have it shipped to your house. Now, to get this out of the way real quick, how much did I pay for this smoker? It was $999. So $1,000. I'll round up, okay? $1,000 for this smoker. And if you're sitting there saying, okay, yep, turn this video off, hold on, because they make different lines of smokers. This isn't the only smoker they make. They make other similar smokers that are lower in price. The next best smoker you can buy that's cheaper than this $1,000 smoker is the Old Country Barbecue Pits Pecos smoker, and that is $450, almost just over actually half the cost of this bad boy. And then you also have the Old Country Barbecue Pits Wrangler smoker, which is supposed to be a level down from the Pecos, but for whatever reason, it's $550 now. I don't know if they redid their pricing or something, or if they improved upon it. I don't know, but it's supposed to be the level down. And if you're really crazy, you can actually go a level up from this Brazos. They have the DLX smoker, which is the Brazos DLX. And basically the only difference I can see about that smoker is it has a counterweight on it, so it makes lifting the door a little easier. That's $1,200. I could be wrong. If anyone owns a DLX, let me know in the comments, because I'm curious what the major differences are. I've heard great things about all of the smokers that Old Country has to offer, even the gravity-fed smokers, but the reason I settled with this Brazos instead of a Pecos or a Wrangler is because I live in the Northeast. So I wanted a smoker that was built extremely well, had great thickness in the steel, and could survive the harsh winters that we get up here. Now, as I said, because I live in the Northeast, I did have to have this shipped to me. And the shipping cost was $150. You might be thinking that's a lot as well. At the end of the day, it's really not. It came from a third-party freight company. It was delivered right to my door on a pallet, all bundled up and cute looking. And all I had to do was move it to the place I wanted to move it. It was very low maintenance on my end. I do want to say something about Academy Sports, because I did have issues with my shipping. Their customer service is great. So when this came to my door, there were a few issues that I experienced right off the bat. First of all, I asked for the shipment to be at my house at 2 p.m. It arrived at 7:30 a.m. At the time, I was working overnight shifts. So I came home, went to bed, and then we have someone knocking at my door at 7:30 a.m. It did not make me very happy. And the reason they told me they came early is because they thought I might want to use it sooner than later. I didn't. Thank you, but I did not. The other issue I had is this firebox door got bent. So this latch right here, I had to hammer out. At first it was really bent out. It was like sticking out like so, and I couldn't close the door any more than this because it was so bent. So I hammered it out with a mallet. I was able to get it close, but it still will not close. Now, because of that, I did contact Academy Sports customer service. They were quick to get back to me. They offered to trade my smoker out and send me a new one, even though it took 2 weeks for it to get to my door in the first place. I didn't want to wait another 4 weeks for a new smoker. So I asked if I could just have my shipping refunded, and they said absolutely. They gave me that $150 back, so at the end of the day, I really only paid $1,000 plus tax. So enough talking about the odds and ends of purchasing this smoker. Let's give you a tour and show you the cool features this smoker has. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. First of all, you have these great wheels that make moving this a little less painful. It is very heavy, so you do need a few people to actually use the wheels and carry it if you need to. But I was able to move this into my backyard where I wanted it with some effort, but not a ton. I didn't at least have to carry it with 4 or 5 guys. Next is they give you this great wood rack. As you can see, I have a ton of wood on here. In the front, I'm able to keep some oak, and in the back, I do keep my maple. I use my oak primarily when my meat is unwrapped, and then the maple after it is wrapped, because maple isn't my favorite smoking wood, but I have a ton of it. So I'm able to put these splits on here. As you can see, it holds a ton of splits. This will last me at least a cook, if not more. Actually, it'll last me probably about 2 or 3 cooks, to be honest. Working our way up to the firebox, as you can see here, we have heat-resistant grips, so you can just grip this and bring it up. Very nice feature. Obviously, most smokers come with that. You have the door that opens to the side, as we already saw, but you can open it up like so. And then you have this that allows you to control the intake of air. Even closing the door like this leaves it pretty well closed. I don't usually need to use the latch anyway. On the top here, we have this really nifty feature. This is a warming tray that you can use to cook beans or something along those lines. Keep your coffee warm if you're out here in the cold morning. It is really cool. I use this feature all the time. It works great. Opening up the firebox, you have... Opening up the firebox, got plenty of space in here. It's about 18 inches long from end to end, so you can fit realistically 16-inch splits in here if you need to. Right here we have a pretty cool grill grate. I've only used it once and it's starting to rust a little bit, so I should probably re-season it. I've used it to cook corn before. It came out amazing, but you can do steaks, you can do burgers, you can do anything really while you're waiting for your meat to be rested or done or whatever. If we pull this out, and I had to pull that hard because there's a little piece of metal that's sticking on the end here. This is removable, and you have this tray for your wood and fire to be placed on, which allows for airflow underneath. If we look at the side here where the firebox door is, you can see there's plenty of space for your air to get under, and then basically all your ash falls beneath for easy cleaning. And right there is your intake where all of your heat goes to your cooking chamber. Moving over to the cooking chamber, first cool feature is this tray, and this tray actually collapses down. If I just lift it up, you see that lever that fell, and this can be placed out of the way if you don't need it. I usually do leave it down. Once again, another heat-resistant handle. Opening it up, believe you have 30-something inches of cooking space. I'm not sure on the exact number, but you do have a bottom grate and a top grate. Both of these grates are removable, so you can slide them right out and put whatever you're cooking right on here without trying to finagle it in there and lean into the smoke and fire. Once again, this tray comes out as well. Very easy to use. I do have my fire brick in there for better heat retention. You have a baffle plate here that pushes your heat down so it doesn't come right up and over your meat. It actually pushes it down, so your hot spot is pretty much right in the middle of your smoker, right about here. And if you haven't seen our biscuit test, where we test where the hot spots are in the smoker, be sure to check that out. I'm not sure if you can see it, but right here is where all your smoke goes to the chimney. Right here where you see this thermometer, this was not included, but there was a hole pre-drilled on this smoker. So if you don't want to place a thermometer here, you don't have to. There's actually a gasket that fits right in. I don't know where I put that, but if I ever want to take this out, I can just put that gasket back in and it'll seal the hole. Here's your nice, cool, handcrafted Old Country Barbecue Pits thing. And then moving over to the smokestack, you got a thick ass boy right here. It's a thick smokestack, allows for great airflow through the smoker. You do have a baffle here where you can control how much air is escaping from your cooking chamber. And you can close that off as such if you feel like doing that. And then down here you have your handle. This is what we actually had to use to move it. And it's heavy, but well, with the wood on there, I can't really pick it up. But you can pick this up. It's not the most comfortable thing, but you can store your utensils and all that good stuff right on here, your spray bottles and stuff like that, so you don't lose track of them. If we move down here, we have this nifty grease drain, and it's very thick, as you can see. I have no problem getting any gunk that builds up in my smoker out this grease trap, and I just put a bucket right underneath here. As you can see, there's a little bit of discoloration there from grease that's leaked out over time, but just put a bucket there and it does its job to catch all the grease. If you do buy a smoker, you do want to make sure it has a grease drain. Some cheaper models do not come with one, which is really weird because you have a high probability for a grease fire if you don't have a grease drain. And I also put my container on top of my charcoal chimney, so I actually am able to prevent a lot of splattering when the grease drips out. The only issue with this drain, and I don't really know if it's a major issue or an issue at all, is that there's no way to stop the grease from leaking out. So there's no shut off, there's no screw on top or anything like that to stop it from leaking. Also, when you get the smoker, you want to make sure that it's leveled out so the grease actually drains to this end of the smoker. You don't want it going to the firebox, or else you're definitely going to have a grease fire. I just want to give you a view of the back of the smoker. Nothing special. Looks like the front without doors. You do have these little things that your doors will rest on, which makes it sort of nice as well. Now, besides the thermometer that I had to buy separate, here are some of the other accessories that I have. I do have an accessories video you can check out. I'll put a link here. But these are the other things I had to purchase with my smoker. I'll put links for all these in the description if you're interested in those. And if you're interested in more detail about these, please check out that accessories video. I do also have a cover that I use for this smoker in the wintertime when I'm not out here as much. I don't have it covered right now. I don't need comments about, oh my God, it looks like crap, it's dirty. It's a smoker. It's barbecue. Barbecue's a dirty hobby, okay? I don't need that. The cook chamber's fine. It looks great. It makes great food. Let's stop with those comments. Just don't put them. I don't care. So now that you've seen an in-depth tour of this smoker, let's talk about the pros and cons, starting with the pros. First of all, the cost. The cost is $999, like I said, and for the quality build you have with this smoker, you can't beat that cost. You can cheap out and go to your home improvement store and buy a crappy smoker that you have to screw everything together, that's going to leak smoke, that's going to make you go crazy because you can't regulate temperatures, you can't maintain a clean fire, or you can save up and pay up for something of good quality. Like I said, the other smokers they have that Old Country makes are also great. You know, the main difference is A, the size, and B, the thickness of the steel. So you're not going to have 1/4 inch steel with the lower end models. For me, living in the Northeast, if you live in a colder climate, you need the 1/4 inch thick steel, I would say. I would just save up and get this smoker if you can. If not, if you live in, the South or something like that, you might be able to get away with a cheaper model. And I'm also curious if anyone in the Northeast has a Pecos or a Wrangler smoker. Let me know how those work out for you. The next thing is the size. I mean, you can fit a ton of stuff on this smoker. I think realistically, I could cook 2 briskets, even 3 if I wanted to. It would be a pain, but I could cook 3 briskets. It wouldn't probably come out the way I wanted it to, but I could do a brisket, 2 pork butts, 2 racks of ribs. I've done sausages on here. I've done all sorts of things. You can do so many things on this, and with these sliding trays, it just makes life so much easier because you can really work around with your food in here. I got gunk on my hand. Gross. That's another pro. I do love these sliding trays. Some models, you don't see sliding trays. You see just stationary trays that don't move, that don't slide out. These make life so much simpler. And honestly, I do forget that they are here sometimes. So sometimes you'll see me finagle with my food and I'll be like, oh, why didn't I just slide the tray out? That was dumb. In addition, I do really like that they gave you this grill rack here. I don't use it for really anything, honestly. See, that's how it sticks. I take it out. I actually keep it in my shed. I don't use it. I like to screw with my fire here. So there's really no purpose for me to have this on here, especially if I'm smoking something. If I wanted to grill something, I'd throw it on, but I have to reseason it, like I said. I also did mention this previously, but the thickness, you can't beat it. 1/4 inch steel is basically the creme de la creme when it comes to smoker thickness. You have thicker smokers, obviously, that are commercially used or for competitions or stuff like that, but you can't beat 1/4 inch thick steel. I don't know how I would cook on something with less of a thickness than that. Like I said, I'd love to hear from people that actually use the smaller thickness steels. Let me know how those work out. Another pro is this handy dandy warming tray. I love it so much. Like I said, I use it all the time. It's a great feature that's built into here. I almost wish there was a flat top on here. That'd be even better, but I already got one of those, so I'm not too worried about that. Last but not least, I do love this wood rack. I think it's very convenient that I can just keep wood on here for, however long till I cook. I don't have to keep going back to my wood pile and splitting wood as I go. I can just keep it here. It stays dry. It stays nice and safe, and I don't have to worry about much. I can just come out here and start cooking, and I love this tray. This tray is very convenient. I like putting my thermometer on here and just facing it toward me or whatnot. Makes life easy. Now, that might not seem like a lot of pros, but at the end of the day, that really makes this smoker great in itself. Those few pros that it has really makes me happy that I purchased this smoker. But even though I did pay good money for the smoker, it's not the top of the line, so it is going to come with some cons. If you don't want a smoker with cons, then shell out $5 grand for one. But if you don't mind putting up with some cons and working around some of the things, you're going to be in great shape. And I want to list off some of those to you right now. As you saw, I did purchase many modifications for this smoker, one of which was gasket to go around the smoker door. As I said, we did do a video on this, but you can see here, there is grill gasket along the edge of this smoker. I also have some along the firebox door as well, which is really sort of worn off and burnt up, but it's not too bad. It's still holding its value. Now, because I only paid, and I said only paid $1,000 for this smoker, it's going to leak smoke. It's handcrafted. It's going to have its issues. So that gasket is a quick fix to minimize the leaking smoke. You don't want it pissing smoke out of all sides, but realistically, it still leaks smoke. It's just not as bad, and that gasket did help a ton. I will say, however, season your smoker and do a test burn before you decide to put gasket on there. The only reason I put gasket on here before I did any of that was because I saw on YouTube that other people had the same problem. I actually put gasket on and it made it worse because I put some silicone around the edges. And you'll see that in our accessories video, but that silicone actually made the smoke leaking worse. So I had to remove a lot of that. It was a waste of money. I was a little bit pissed off about that. But at the end of the day, the gasket did end up helping once I sanded it down a little bit and took off all that silicone. Do a test burn before you put any kind of gasket on your smoker or make any modifications, because you do not know how it's going to react to smoke. You don't know how it's going to work. Just trust me on this. Don't spend your money until you know you have to. Now, I mentioned I love the thickness, but what does thick metal mean? Well, it means this thing's going to be heavy. Now, for some people like me, you don't care, right? This is not an issue opening this door. For other people, such as Kayla, this door is extremely heavy. This is a pain to move if you need to move it. Even though it has wheels, it will take two or three or four guys to move this to your backyard. We had to move it all the way back to our patio, which was a very, very, very long walk. So if you're someone that can't tolerate lifting doors, maybe you're elderly, maybe you just don't have the strength to do that, I would definitely go with a model that you don't need to worry about the weight, okay? And I've heard that the DLX, the next line up, the $1,200 model, the counterweight makes a huge difference. So if you need a counterweight, I would even save up more and purchase one with a counterweight if you have to. The next thing is this tray is rusting a little bit. I don't know how to prevent that. That's sort of annoying. There is rust in some spots, but for the most part, the cooking chamber, the firebox, all that is very good. I have been spraying my firebox once in a while with canola oil spray, just to prevent the rust from forming. If any of you out there have any tips for preventing this from rusting, please let me know, because I don't want to lose this. The next con, I wish it came with a thermometer. This is a very cheap thermometer. I mean, it was like 20 bucks or something like that. But it just would have been great to get something with a thermometer, or even more places to put the thermometer without having to drill into the metal. I know a lot of people like their thermometer right here at grate level. Some people even like it over here by the chimney. I just leave this here for a reference, mostly to see what the temperatures are up top if I'm cooking something up there. And I use my ThermaWorks pen or my probes to sort of monitor the temps inside the smoker at grate level. So this is, it sucks that you have to buy one. I wish they came with one. I wish there were more options, but it is what it is. It's not really a big deal. You should really purchase a good thermometer to begin with anyway. The next thing, obvious con, was the shipping. That shipping company really annoyed me to no end. I'm really pissed that they came at 7:30 a.m. when I was trying to sleep. I'm really pissed that they did damage stuff in the shipping process. I worked for a shipping company before. I understand how shipping works. It's not pretty. So I get that. But just be mindful of the fact that you might have damage. If you do have damage and you order this, reach out to Academy. They were great to work with. But depending on who you get, you could have an all-star shipping company. You could have a shipping company that doesn't care. So just something to be aware of. Don't let that discourage you from purchasing this, but keep that in mind. The next thing I really do not like is how they designed this firebox, specifically this. Okay, you have to screw with this a little bit during the cooking process in order to regulate your temps, and you can't really touch it. So I usually use my tongs here and I rotate this like so, because if you touch this, you're gonna sear your hand. So do not touch this, especially the latch too. Same thing. There's no heat-proof handles on there. So use tongs and just adjust it like so. The next con is this grate. I really do not like this grate. I think it's worthless. I find that when I put charcoal in here, it just burns through to the bottom. I lose my coal base very quickly, and I had to do a modification to prevent this. What I did is I bought some expanded metal and I put this in a V pattern right in my firebox. So I put my fire right here in the middle, and all of the coals go down to the bottom, which keeps my coal bed lasting longer. It is a great modification. If you can get one of these pieces for like 10 bucks, just bend it in half, throw it in. You'll be much happier and it'll be much easier to control your fires. Last but not least, I cannot stand this baffle plate, okay? Looking at it, you can see it really pushes the fire down, and I do not like how your hot spot is right in the middle. I've ended up with burnt brisket on the point section, and sometimes even on the flat, because the heat just comes up and then it goes right over to the flat. Instead of hitting the point where all the fat is that you keep that layer on to protect it, it's sort of pointless to even do that, because it just goes right underneath the brisket and out the chimney. So I find that my hot spot, a lot of the times if I have a brisket on, is right here where the chimney is, because all that heat comes to that central point. So I really wish they didn't put that in. You can regulate your temps a little bit better just using the firebox and closing and opening that baffle right there, but it's still a pain because you do want maximum airflow. So I just don't know why they did that. I wish they just put a straight plate up and let it just come over the meat like a normal smoker would. So I just had to switch camera angles because my camera shut off because it was too hot and in direct sunlight. So hopefully it doesn't die. But two things I wanted to share with you before I get to my final thoughts on this amazing smoker. First thing, take the time to learn your smoker. Whatever kind of smoker you get, just take the time to learn it. Don't trust that whatever I told you today, if you get this smoker, is going to be the same for yours. Every smoker is different. These smokers are handcrafted. There's going to be issues with every single one of them, and each one will perform differently. So please, please, please do some test burns in them. To figure out what kind of modifications you need before you spend the money. See how much smoke it leaks. See what happens when you put a log on. See what happens where you have a dirty fire, a clean fire. See where your temperature fluctuations are within the smoker. Learn all those things before you decide to go out and spend $100 on a brisket and do your first cook like I did. Not that I ruined it, but there was so much more I could have learned before I did that would have made such a better product in the end. So please learn your smoker before you do anything else. The second thing you need to keep in mind if you purchase a stick burning offset smoker, this is a lifestyle. Like, people look at me like I'm crazy when I say I sit out here for 14 hours and smoke a brisket and watch a fire. That's a whole day commitment. If you don't want to make that commitment, or you're not sure about it, maybe you're thinking, oh yeah, that'd be cool, but why spend the money if at the end of the day you're going to get sick of doing that? You really need to keep that in mind. If you're looking for convenience, get a pellet smoker. Don't waste your money on something that you're not going to use. It may not produce the best product, but pellet smokers are fine. Weber Smoky Mountains are fine. Big Green Eggs are fine. Propane smokers are fine. They're going to give you a good product. It's not going to necessarily match the flavor you get by putting the time and effort into burning a fire with real wood. But if that's not what you're looking to do, if you're not looking to babysit a fire all day, don't spend your money because you're going to regret it really soon after you do your first cook and go, wow, that took forever. I don't want to do that ever again. My final thoughts on this smoker, I highly recommend it. I may have listed off a bunch of cons, but I am really nitpicking. For the price of this smoker and the build quality and the value and the features that you get, you can't go wrong with this. And like I said, you can even purchase a smoker of a lower level from Old Country. They're going to be fine. Don't go out and spend your money on some cheap offset smoker from Home Depot that you have to, bolt together that's going to piss smoke all over the place. You're going to be really mad at yourself, and it's going to just ruin your whole experience of smoking because it's going to be hard to maintain temps. It's going to be hard to keep an even, clean fire burning most of the time. It's just not worth the time and effort. You can get a good product on those, but if you really want to learn how to smoke and want to invest your money into something that will last a lifetime, you can't go wrong with these. You cannot go wrong with the Brazos smoker. There are other smokers on the market that are really, really, really expensive. If you want to start with those, cool. I wouldn't. I'm probably going to upgrade to this at some point when I get better at smoking. I'm still really new to it. I've only been doing this for a year and a half, whatever it's been. So I would like to eventually upgrade to a 500-gallon offset smoker. That'd be great. That's my dream. But for the time being, learning how to do things on this smoker, the best thing I could have ever purchased, and I really, really love it. You can't go wrong with this. At the end of the day, maintaining a fire on a bigger smoker is much easier, or so I've heard. I've never done it. That's just what I've heard. You're going to struggle a little bit, the smaller smoker you have, just to maintain even temps, but I really just don't think you can go wrong. You can do so much great things with this, so many great things, I should say, with this smoker. You can create amazing food. You can make your friends impressed. You can just love life. And you can get quality barbecue on this smoker instead of going out and paying $20 per pound for something at your local barbecue joint that may not be as good because guess what? You didn't make it. So, at the end of the day, buy this smoker. I really do recommend it for even beginners. I think it's a great product. If you have any questions, in the comments, let us know. I'll get back to you, I promise. I love when people comment. Like I said, if you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. It helps us get exposed to all of you barbecue fanatics out on YouTube. And please subscribe if you like outdoor cooking. That's what we specialize in. We go on the Blackstone, we do smoking videos and whatnot. And we do comedy too. So be sure to check out some of those videos. That's just what we like to do. Once again, my name is Josh. Thank you for checking out Tubby Time. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and most of all, stay tubby. Thanks for watching.